At 0800 hours on the 3rd of January 1944, Major Gregory Boyington led a fighter sweep over Rabaul with tobacco stuffed in the corners of his eyes to keep them open. He had not slept properly in weeks. The exhaustion was catching up. The skin disease was spreading. The constant combat was grinding him down. But he was 1 kill away from tying Eddie Rickenbacker's record, 2 kills away from breaking it. The record that had stood since 1918, 26 years. No American pilot had exceeded 26 confirmed victories. Boyington was at 25 with the Black Sheep plus the 2 or 6 he claimed with the Flying Tigers, depending on who you asked. Today he would tie the record, or he would die trying. He rolled his Vought F4U Corsair into a dive toward 10 Japanese Zeros climbing to meet him. His wingman, Captain George Ashman, followed. The Zeros scattered. Boyington fired. 1 Zero exploded. 26 kills total if you counted the Flying Tigers. He reversed. Another Zero in his sights. Fired. The Zero went down smoking. 27. He had broken Rickenbacker's record. Then 20 more Zeros dove from above. The ambush he should have anticipated. The trap he was too exhausted to recognize. Ashman's Corsair was hit. Ashman bailed out over the water. Boyington dove to protect him. More Zeros. His Corsair took multiple hits. Engine smoking. Controls failing. He was going down. He bailed out at 200 feet. Too low for the parachute to fully deploy. He hit the water hard. 4 Zeros strafed him for 20 minutes. Bullets churning the water around him. He dove repeatedly. Held his breath. Surfaced. Dove again. They finally left. A Japanese submarine surfaced. Picked him up. He was a prisoner. The Black Sheep Squadron commander. The bad boy ace. The hard-drinking brawler who had turned a collection of misfits into the most aggressive fighter squadron in the South Pacific. He would spend 20 months in Japanese prison camps. His men would spend those months believing he was dead. America would award him the Medal of Honor posthumously. Except he was not dead. He was surviving. Barely. That was Pappy Boyington. Too stubborn to die properly. Too ornery to follow regulations. Too damn good to ignore. Gregory Boyington was born December 4, 1912 in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. His parents divorced when he was an infant. He grew up believing his name was Gregory Hallenbeck, his mother's second husband's name. He did not learn his real surname until 1935 when applying for the aviation cadet program and requesting his birth certificate. The discovery that his father was Charles Boyington, a man he had never met, explained nothing and changed everything. He kept the name. It sounded better than Hallenbeck anyway. His childhood was hardscrabble Pacific Northwest, Tacoma, Washington from age 13, Stewart Junior High, Lincoln High School, scrapping, wrestling, fighting anyone who looked at him wrong. He was good at fighting, natural talent combined with pure meanness. He channeled this into high school and college wrestling. Intercollegiate wrestling champion at University of Washington. Graduated 1934 with degree in aeronautical engineering. Also participated in Army ROTC. Discovered he was ineligible for the Aviation Cadet Act of 1935 because he was married. The act excluded married men. Boyington needed to fly. He found a loophole. Applied to the Marine Corps. Different regulations. Marines accepted married candidates. He was commissioned second lieutenant September 1935. Flight training at Naval Air Station Pensacola, Florida. Earned his wings March 1936. For the next 5 years, Boyington served as flight instructor. Pensacola. Various bases. Teaching primary flight. Teaching instrument flying. Competent instructor. Terrible officer. He drank. He brawled. He accumulated debts faster than his salary could cover. He wrote monthly letters to Marine Corps headquarters detailing how he was paying down his many loans. Ex-wife. 3 children. Creditors. The IRS. His lifestyle exceeded his income by substantial margin. He needed money. The Marine Corps paid $150 per month for first lieutenant. Not enough. Not nearly enough. Promotion to captain seemed unlikely given his disciplinary record. He was trapped. Drinking more. Debts mounting. Career stalling. Then came the opportunity. In August 1941, recruiters for the American Volunteer Group visited Pensacola. The AVG, soon to be famous as the Flying Tigers, was hiring pilots to defend China against Japanese aggression. The pay was $675 per month plus $500 bonus for every confirmed kill. This was 5 times his Marine Corps salary. With bonuses, he could clear his debts in months. Boyington resigned his commission immediately. He sailed for China on the Dutch liner Boschfontein in September. Among the last large group of AVG pilots recruited, he reached Rangoon November 12, 1941, took the train to Toungoo, Burma, the AVG training base. He was assigned to 1st Pursuit Squadron, the Adam and Eves, checked out in the Curtiss P-40C Tomahawk. Ready for combat! The other pilots called him Greg. Sometimes Gregory. He was 28 years old, not the oldest but close. The nickname Pappy came later, with the Marines. The AVG just knew him as the guy who drank constantly, fought frequently, and flew aggressively. Executive Officer Olga Greenlaw described him as 5 feet 8 inches tall with tremendous shoulders and narrow hips, strong as an ox. When drunk, which was often, he insisted on wrestling. The surrounding territory often resembled Coventry after a blitz, but he was a good fellow and a red-hot flyer. This assessment was accurate. Boyington was difficult. He was also capable. His time with the Flying Tigers was contentious. He clashed with Commander Claire Chenot repeatedly. Chenot enforced strict discipline. Boyington ignored it. Chenot forbade unauthorized flights. Boyington took them anyway. Chenot wanted pilots to follow doctrine. Boyington improvised. The friction was inevitable. But Boyington learned that Japanese pilots were skilled, that the Zero was more maneuverable than the P-40 but less durable, that diving attacks worked, that turning fights were suicide. That aggression mattered more than caution. He claimed 6 kills with the AVG. 2 are confirmed by official records. The discrepancy would haunt him. For the rest of his life, he insisted 6. The records say 2. The truth is probably somewhere between. War makes accurate record-keeping difficult. Boyington made it impossible. In April 1942, 3 months before his AVG contract expired, Boyington broke it. He quit. Returned to the United States. Chenot gave him a dishonorable discharge. This did not matter. America was at war. The Marine Corps needed experienced combat pilots. Boyington walked into a recruiting office, sworn in, reinstated as major. His AVG experience counted for something. His disciplinary record was overlooked. The Marines needed pilots who could fight. Boyington could fight. In April 1943, he deployed to the South Pacific. Executive officer of VMF-12, Guadalcanal. He shot down nothing. In June, he broke his leg in a drunken wrestling match. Lost command. In July, he commanded VMF-112 briefly. Still no kills. By August, Boyington was 30 years old with no Marine Corps aerial victories and a reputation as a troublemaker. His career was circling the drain. Again. Then Colonel Lawson Sanderson gave him one more chance. Espiritu Santo. New Hebrides. August 1943. Marine Air Group 11 had excess pilots. Men without squadrons. Some were experienced. Some were replacements fresh from the States. Some had been orphaned when their units disbanded. Some were disciplinary problems nobody wanted. All were eager to fly. Sanderson authorized forming a new squadron from these men. He delegated the task to Boyington, 27 pilots. Grab whoever's available. 4 weeks to train them. Then combat. The mission was impossible by conventional standards. Boyington accepted immediately. He gathered his pilots. He explained the situation. They were the leftovers, the unwanted, the misfits. They had 4 weeks to become a combat squadron. They would fly the F-4U Corsair, the bent wing bird, the plane the Navy rejected as too dangerous for carrier operations, the plane with the 13-foot propeller that required inverted gull wings for ground clearance, the plane that could exceed 400 miles per hour but was prone to unrecoverable spins. They would learn to fly it. They would learn to fight in it. They would go into combat ready or not. Anyone who could not handle this should leave now. Nobody left. The squadron needed a name. On the evening of September 13, 1943, the pilots gathered in Boyington's tent. Someone suggested Boyington's bastards. The pilots were orphans. They possessed few reliable planes. They had no assigned mechanics. Bastards fit. Captain Jack DeChant, the Marine Corps Public Information Officer, rejected it. Civilian newspapers would never print it. He suggested Black Sheep. Same meaning. Acceptable for publication. The squadron adopted it. They designed their badge. Black shield of illegitimacy. The bend sinister. A black sheep superimposed. Surrounded by 12 stars. They were VMF-214. The Black Sheep Squadron, the most famous fighter squadron in Marine Corps history, was born from rejects and leftovers, led by a 30-year-old drunk with a talent for violence. Training lasted 4 weeks. Gunnery practice. Formation flying. Tactics. Boyington emphasized aggression. Close with the enemy. Fire at minimum range. Follow through. Never break off while the enemy is still flying. He taught them everything he learned with the Flying Tigers and everything he wished someone had taught him earlier. The Corsair was faster than the Zero. Use that speed. Dive attacks. High side passes. Never turn fight. The Zero will outturn you every time. Hit hard. Hit first. Extend away. Come back for another pass. Simple doctrine. Effective doctrine. The Black Sheep learned fast. They had to, on September 12, 1943, they deployed forward to Guadalcanal and Henderson Field. Their first mission was September 16th. Escort Douglas SBD Dauntless dive bombers attacking Balali at the southern end of the Solomon Islands. The Black Sheep flew high cover at 20,000 feet. Japanese fighters intercepted. The Black Sheep dove. In the first 2 weeks of operations, VMF-214 shot down 23 Japanese aircraft, claimed 11 probables, lost 5 pilots. The exchange rate was acceptable. The aggressiveness was legendary. Boyington personally shot down 5 aircraft in the first week. The Black Sheep were proving they could fight. Newspapers noticed. War correspondents attached. America needed heroes. The Black Sheep provided good copy. Hard drinking. Hard fighting. Led by an old man called Pappy, the nickname emerged organically. Boyington was 31. Most of his pilots were 20 or 21, 10 years older, ancient by squadron standards. Someone started calling him Gramps. Paul Mullen, one of his pilots, rewrote the lyrics to the Whiffin' Poof song, changed Gramps to Pappy. The name stuck. War correspondents picked it up. Soon everyone called him Pappy. Boyington accepted it. Better than Gramps, Pappy suggested wisdom, experience, paternal authority, also drinking. Pappy was associated with moonshine, bootleggers, hard liquor. The name fit perfectly. Gregory Pappy Boyington, hard-drinking fighter ace, leader of the Black Sheep, America's bad boy hero. By October 4th, Boyington was refining his tactics. Over Bougainville, escorting dive bombers, he encountered Zeros. In 1 minute, he shot down 3. His gunnery was exceptional. His positioning was perfect. His aggression was overwhelming. The Zeros scattered. Boyington pursued more kills. By November, his score was rising rapidly. 10 kills, 15, 20. The press followed his progress. Major Gregory Pappy Boyington was closing on the American record. Eddie Rickenbacker, World War I ace, had 26 confirmed kills. Captain Joe Foss, Marine aviator, had tied the record earlier in 1943. Boyington was approaching it. America watched. The record had stood 25 years. Boyington might break it. On November 1st, Allied forces landed on Bougainville, captured beachhead at Torokina, built airfield. For the first time, Allied fighters could reach Rabaul, the Japanese stronghold. Simpson Harbor, heavily defended. Hundreds of Japanese aircraft. The Black Sheep escorted strikes against Rabaul repeatedly. The combat intensity increased, so did the casualties. By December, Boyington had 24 kills, 2 shy of the record. The exhaustion was catching up. Tropical climate, constant combat, skin disease, lack of sleep. He kept flying. On December 23rd, he shot down 1-0, 25 kills, 1 from tying the record. The press went crazy. Newspapers ran headlines. Record-seeking Pappy gets 25th Jap. America was watching. Boyington kept flying. December 27th, fighter sweep over Rabaul. More zeros. Boyington shot down 126. He had tied Rickenbacker. Tied Foss? The record was his, but not broken. He needed 27. The Black Sheep returned to base. Boyington requested permission to keep flying combat missions. His second tour was technically complete. He could rotate back to the States, rest, receive the decorations, do the publicity tours. He refused. He wanted 27. He wanted the record outright. His commanders approved. The Black Sheep stayed in combat. Boyington kept hunting. On January 3, 1944, he led the fighter sweep that would end his war. He shot down 2 Zeros, 28 total if you counted the Flying Tigers. Then the Zeros got him. He bailed out. Japanese submarine picked him up. He was wounded. Shoulder injury. Head injury. The submarine crew took him to Rabaul. Interrogation. The Japanese believed they had captured a relative of Winston Churchill. They had not. Wrong Churchill. But Boyington was valuable anyway. High-profile prisoner. They flew him to Japan. paraded him through Tokyo in chains. More interrogation. When they determined he was not related to the prime minister, they sent him to prison camps. Ofuna first, near Yokohama, interrogation center for valuable prisoners. Then Omori, near Tokyo. Then another camp. Then another. 20 months. Starvation rations, beatings, disease, isolation, psychological torture, physical abuse. He survived. Barely. Prisoners died around him. He did not. Too stubborn. Too mean. Too determined to outlast his captors. The black sheep searched for him. For days after he went down, they flew search patterns over the water, strafed every barge, investigated every rumor, found nothing. On January 8th, 5 days after Boyington's loss, the black sheep conducted their final mission as a unit. 2 6-week combat tours. 84 days, 1,776 missions. 203 Japanese aircraft destroyed or damaged. 97 confirmed air-to-air kills. 8 pilots earning ace status. Presidential unit citation. The squadron was disbanded. The pilots scattered to other units. The legend was complete. Boyington was declared missing in action, presumed killed. President Roosevelt awarded him the Medal of Honor posthumously. The citation stated he had personally destroyed 22 aircraft while commanding VMF 214. His daring and innovative tactics had made him the leading Marine Corps ace. America mourned. The bad boy ace was dead, except he was not. August 30th, 1945. American forces liberated Omori prison camp. Boyington was found alive, emaciated, 75 pounds lighter than his combat weight, covered in sores, suffering from malnutrition and disease, but alive. His fellow prisoners had painted Pappy Boyington here on the roof of their barracks, hoping Allied aircraft would see it. On September 12th, Boyington arrived at Naval Air Station Alameda, California. 21 former Black Sheep pilots met him. That night, they threw a party at the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco. The party was legendary. Life magazine covered it. This was the first time Life had ever published photographs of people consuming alcohol. The images showed exactly what America expected. Pappy Boyington and his Black Sheep getting spectacularly drunk, celebrating survival. The bad boy ace was home. On October 5th, 1945, President Harry Truman presented Boyington with his Medal of Honor on the White House lawn. The medal, originally awarded posthumously, Boyington was there to receive it in person. The ceremony was covered nationally. America's hero had returned from the dead. Boyington was promoted to lieutenant colonel. He had 28 confirmed victories. The official Marine Corps tally varied depending on whether the Flying Tigers kills counted. 2 confirmed with AVG, 26 with the Marines, total 28. Or was it 6 with AVG and 22 with Marines for 28 total? The discrepancy was never resolved. Boyington insisted 28. The record supported it. Sort of close enough for government work. After the war, Boyington's life spiraled. The drinking intensified. The debts returned. 4 marriages, 4 divorces. Jobs came and went. Referee for professional wrestling matches. Participant in wrestling matches. Consulting work. Speaking engagements. He wrote an autobiography, Ba Ba Black Sheep, published 1958. Brutally honest about his flaws, the drinking, the womanizing, the debts, the fighting. Also honest about the Flying Tigers. He criticized Chennault extensively, called the AVG organization chaotic, questioned Chennault's tactics. The book sold well, generated controversy. Veterans complained. Chennault defenders attacked. Boyington did not care. He told his truth. Whether others liked it was their problem. In 1976, NBC adapted his book into a television series, Ba Ba Black Sheep. Robert Conrad played Boyington. The show ran 2 seasons, 1976 to 1978. Renamed Black Sheep Squadron in the 2nd season. The show was entertainment, loosely based on reality. Very loosely. Boyington served as technical advisor. He appeared in 3 episodes. He also publicly stated the show was inaccuracies, hogwash, and Hollywood hokum. This did not stop him from cashing the checks. At a 2002 symposium, real VMF 214 pilots were asked about the show's authenticity. Retired Colonel Henry McCartney said the list of errors was too long to repeat, but the show introduced a new generation to Pappy Boyington. It kept the legend alive. That mattered more than accuracy. Boyington retired from the Marine Corps in August 1947 with the rank of colonel. He received this rank upon retirement in recognition of his combat service. He did not serve at that rank on active duty. The distinction mattered. Regulations mattered. Even for Pappy Boyington. He lived another 41 years. Fought alcoholism. Sometimes won, often lost. 4 wives meant 4 divorces. Children from multiple marriages. Relationships destroyed by drinking and temperament. He was not an easy man to live with. He never pretended otherwise. His autobiography was titled Ba Ba Black Sheep for a reason. He was the black sheep. Always had been. Being decorated did not change his nature. Being famous did not fix his problems. Being a hero did not make him a good husband or father. He knew this. He owned it. "Show me a hero and I will show you a bum." He said this often. He meant himself. He was hero and bum simultaneously. Both were true. Neither negated the other. On January 11, 1988, cancer killed Gregory Pappy Boyington. He was 75 years old. He died in Fresno, California. He was buried at Arlington National Cemetery. His funeral included full military honors. The current incarnation of VMF 214 performed a flyby. VMF Avrian flying F-4 Phantom IIs, conducted a missing man formation. Boyington was laid to rest next to boxing legend Joe Louis. A friend remarked that all Pappy would not have to go far to find a good fight. This was accurate. Boyington spent his life fighting Japanese pilots, commanding officers, creditors, the IRS, ex-wives, alcoholism, cancer. He fought everything. He won more than he lost. That was enough. That had to be enough, because it was all he had. When we assess Boyington's impact, the numbers tell competing stories. 28 confirmed victories. Official, Medal of Honor, Navy Cross. The record broken, or tied depending on how you count the Flying Tigers. The Black Sheep Squadron. 84 days of combat. 203 Japanese aircraft destroyed or damaged. Presidential Unit Citation. 8 aces produced. These are achievements. Quantifiable. Documented. They matter. But they do not capture what Boyington represented. He was the proof that misfits could fight, that troublemakers could lead, that the rules did not matter if you got results. The Marine Corps needed this example in the Pacific. Not every pilot fit the academy mold. Not every leader followed regulations. Some men fought best when fighting was all they had. Boyington was that man. The Black Sheep were those men. They proved the Marine Corps could accommodate them. Should accommodate them? Because war needs all types, especially the types who enjoy fighting. The question historians debate is whether Boyington was great leader or lucky drunk. The answer is yes, both, simultaneously. He was a great combat leader. His tactics were sound. His gunnery was exceptional. His aggression was contagious. The Black Sheep followed him because he led from the front. He took the same risks. He flew the same missions. He killed more enemies than anyone else in the squadron. Leadership by example, the most effective kind. But he was also lucky. He survived situations that killed others. He evaded captures that succeeded against less fortunate pilots. He recovered from wounds and crashes that crippled careers. Luck mattered. Skill mattered more. But luck was not negligible. Boyington had both. The combination was lethal. His drinking was problem. No question. It affected his career. It destroyed his marriages. It damaged his health. It complicated his legacy. But it did not stop him from accomplishing his missions. He drank heavily between combat deployments. During combat, he flew. He fought. He led. The drinking happened on the ground. In the air. He was professional. Focused. Deadly. This distinction matters. Many functional alcoholics exist. Few are fighter aces. Boyington was both. The drinking was character flaw. It was not disqualifying flaw. The Marine Corps needed pilots who could kill Japanese aircraft. Boyington killed 28. The drinking was acceptable cost for 28 victories. This calculus seems harsh. War is harsh. The Marine Corps made the correct decision. Use Boyington. Accept his flaws. Get his results. The comparison to other aces is instructive. Richard Bong. 40 victories. Army Air Forces. Top American ace of the war. Killed in test flight. Thomas McGuire. 38 victories. Army Air Forces. Killed in combat. David McCampbell. 34 victories. Navy. Survived. Joe Foss. 26 victories. Marines. Survived. These men were aces. Professional pilots. Disciplined officers. Model servicemen. Boyington had 28 victories. He was none of those other things. He was unprofessional. Undisciplined. Terrible officer by regulation standards. But he got results. He killed enemies. He led men. He survived impossible situations. The comparison reveals that aces come in types. Some are professional warriors. Some are barely controlled chaos. Both types are needed. Both types are effective. Boyington was the chaos type. The Marine Corps needed chaos in the Pacific. Boyington provided it. His legacy is the black sheep, not his individual score, not his decorations. The squadron. VMF du Jourdain. The proof that misfits could fight, that second chances mattered. That the Marine Corps could take orphaned pilots, disciplinary problems, replacement fodder, and forge them into an elite combat unit. This required the right leader. Boyington was that leader, not because he was perfect, because he was flawed like them. He understood them. He had been them. Troublemaker, drunk, guy with problems. He knew how they thought. He knew what motivated them. He knew they would follow someone who fought harder than they did. So he fought harder. He killed more enemies. He took more risks. He led from the front. The black sheep followed. They became legends. That is leadership. Imperfect leadership. Effective leadership. The kind that cannot be taught at academies. The kind that emerges from necessity and personality. Boyington had it. The black sheep proved it. The Japanese paid for it. Today, very few people remember Pappy Boyington who did not watch the television show. The 1970s series introduced him to generations who knew nothing about World War II Pacific air combat. Robert Conrad's portrayal, while inaccurate in details, captured something essential. Boyington was larger than life. Aggressive, charismatic, flawed. The show got that right. Everything else was Hollywood. But Hollywood kept the story alive, kept the name alive. Young people learned about VMF 214, about the Corsair, about the Pacific Campaign. This mattered. History lives through storytelling. The television show told a story, not the true story, but a story true enough to inspire interest. Some viewers researched the real Boyington, found the contradictions, found the complexity, found a man more interesting than fiction. This is how history propagates. Imperfect transmission, mutation, survival of the interesting. Boyington was interesting. Therefore remembered, 4 memorials preserve his name. Arlington National Cemetery. His headstone. Simple, elegant. Colonel Gregory Boyington. Medal of Honor. Navy Cross. Dates of birth and death. Nothing more needed. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. His birthplace. Street named after him. Boyington Avenue. Local pride. Local hero. University of Washington. His alma mater. Memorial plaque. Slight controversy when installed because some objected to honoring someone with drinking problems. The objection was overruled. Alumni who win the Medal of Honor get memorials regardless of personal flaws. Pensacola Naval Air Station. Memorial to all flying tigers. Boyington's name included. These memorials are adequate, not grand. Adequate. Boyington would have approved. He was not grand. He was adequate with moments of brilliance. The memorials reflect this accurately. The lesson, if lesson exists, is about institutional flexibility. The Marine Corps could have discharged Boyington multiple times. Drinking, debts, insubordination, fighting. Plenty of cause. They kept him because he could fly and fight. When war came, that mattered more than regulations. Organizations that can accommodate difficult personalities, access talent, rigid organizations lose. This does not mean tolerate everything. It means recognize that some people function best outside normal structures. Boyington was that person. The black sheep were those people. The Marine Corps accommodated them. Got results. This was institutional success. The ability to recognize value despite flaws. To utilize assets despite complications. To accept that hero and bum can be the same person. The Marine Corps did this with Boyington. America benefited. At 0800 hours on January 3, 1944, Pappy Boyington stuffed tobacco in his eyes to stay awake and let a fighter sweep over Rabaul. He was exhausted, sick, worn down by months of constant combat. He flew anyway because he wanted the record. He needed 28. He got 28. Then he got shot down, captured. 20 months as prisoner. Survived. Returned. Collected his Medal of Honor. Got drunk. Fought demons. Married. Divorced. Repeated. Lived 43 more years fighting alcoholism in himself. Died of cancer. Buried with honors. Remembered as the bad boy ace. The black sheep leader. The man who proved misfits could fight. Could lead. Could win. This was Gregory Pappy Boyington. Hero and bum. Ace and alcoholic. Leader and troublemaker. Medal of Honor recipient and disciplinary problem. All simultaneously, all authentically. He never pretended to be anything except what he was. That was his greatest achievement. Not the 28 kills, not the Medal of Honor, not the black sheep. The achievement was being completely himself in an institution that demanded conformity and getting away with it, because he was too valuable to lose. That is the lesson. That is the legacy. Be so good they cannot ignore you. Be so effective they must accommodate you. Be yourself so completely that trying to change you is pointless. Pappy Boyington did this. The Marine Corps accepted it. America benefited. We remember him, flaws and all, hero and bum, black sheep and bad boy ace. Pappy Boyington, the man who brought a bottle to a gunfight and won anyway.